Hello, everyone. Welcome to Willow Talk, and we've got a special episode today. Adam Peacock here with regulars Brad Haddin and Alyssa Healy. Hello, Hads, Heels. How are you?
Very well, thank you.
That's the way. We've got a special guest because we're going to have an in-depth interview now and a chat, not just to our guest, but we'll chuck it around the table about life in general. Phoebe Litchfield is with us, young Australian cricketer, just finding her way in the sport. Enjoying yourself on the international stage. Phoebe, thank you for dropping by. How are you?
I'm well, thanks. How are you?
I'm pretty good.
That's good.
Don't be nervous. It's only your captain sitting next to you.
Yeah.
She
No
will
pressure.
hold it against you.
Yeah.
She does it to us.
Yeah.
Okay.
She's got a lot of power in here, so be careful.
Oh,
Yeah.
Bradley.
I started
Stop
in that
it.
seat.
You started in
I'm
that seat.
closer to the door.
Stop it. She's got her arms folded as well.
I know.
already.
Yeah,
So-
this is is she nervous?
Well, driving in here, Phoebes, I was
Yeah.
thinking today, back when I was growing up and a young player like yourself was coming through, I'm not saying you're going to end up with a career like Shane Warne, hopefully you do, naming lights, but I could imagine if Shane Warne at the start of his career was sitting next to Alan Border doing a podcast. Can you imagine that? This is the modern way. This is the now she's stroking her chin and
She's
trying to
Should
work
I
out-
leave? Like,
No,
what are we
no.
doing right now? Should I be not in here?
No, I will be myself regardless.
Are you more nervous opening the batting or sitting here doing a podcast?
Ooh, that's a tough question. Look, I reckon open the batting.
Oh, so she's fine, guys.
I
Have
think
you
that's
ever
a
run
good
the
thing.
captain out?
No.
Have you ever seen the captain blow up in the change room after getting out? Say for 99 or something?
I don't think I was in the change room actually. No,
Everyone cleared.
The key with Midgie or all other batters is like if they get out, you just get out of the change room.
Smart.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Just-
smart
just-
cricketer.
You
There's
go in the change room and pretend you're putting your pads on so you can give all
Just
the
to witness
information back to the teammates afterwards.
Well, I stopped throwing my bats about, 6, 7, 8 years ago.
Oh.
Yeah. I
There's a
don't
lot of pot kettle in here.
No, I don't throw the willow, but I throw the soft gear. Renowned for a big pad
you haven't
slam.
run out properly yet then.
Oh,
Well,
In a
We'll
test
get to
match.
that.
yeah, that hurt.
Before we get into Phoebe's career and how it started and where it's going and where it is right now, I'll go over to Lisa. Can you speak of what you see in this young cricketer that's with us in this room and what you've seen so far about her abilities?
we've got to make sure she can get out the door, so we'll keep it. We'll keep
Don't
it
make my head too
downplay
big.
it.
Yeah.
Just pure excitement. I think everybody saw it when she burst onto the scene in WBBL at 16 and after I gave her a gobful, played a scoop straight over my head and laughed at me. So, I think we all saw it, saw what she was capable of.
Wait. Press the brake, go into R, hit the reverse button. What happened?
Well, Sixers playing Thunder, we want to win. We want to
yeah.
beat the Thunder.
Yeah.
It's just what it is. And all of a sudden there's this young upstart that's coming into the Thunder. Everyone's talking about it. Everyone's forgotten about me. So I got a little grumpy behind the stumps and she was probably striking at less than 100 and gave her a little reminder of that. And next ball scooped it straight over my head for 4. I think it may have even gone for 6. And I just went like this. I just put my hands in my gloves and thought, yeah, right, she's got something about her, which we're obviously seeing right now.
Do you remember this?
No, I
You
don't.
don't?
No, I don't actually remember you talking to me at all. But I do.
Oh, she's that sort of captain.
No.
You've got to earn the right to
No.
talk to her.
But
Write this
I just,
down.
I can't really remember that day either. I don't know. It was kind of just all a blur. But I was, kind of just nervous that I wasn't batting above 100. That was just my goal, batting above 100 strike rate. It's like, okay, what do I do? Let's do a scoop.
Scoop it straight over the keeper's
Scoop
head.
And ever since, she's shown some other shots of a bit of quality.
Well, it's just there's no fear there, which is kind of what you want from young players coming through at the moment. I mean, I'm 35 or 34. I can stress about life and what shots I'm going to play and if I'm going to get out and if my career's going to end. But at 21, I mean, you just want to go out there, hit the ball and play creative style of cricket, which Phoebe does. And she does everything to the best of her ability and gives it 110%. You can see it in the field in particular. So it's exciting for a captain like myself to have somebody like Phoebe in the team who drives the standards in that regard. So it's she's just exciting. I think that's probably the best way to put it. And she's got a long career ahead of her if she wants it.
Hads, you're an avid watcher of all
Yeah.
cricket. What do you see here?
Well,
I think we need to summarise that a bit better. Brad Haddin, Phoebe Litchfield's #1 fan.
Yes.
number one. I seen her play in a grey game actually.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's when I came in and said she'll be in the top 5 cricketers of all time when she retires. It was Penrith playing Northern Districts. You bullied the game, and that's what I liked about it. I was watching the game thinking, what's happening out there? And you bullied the game. You're playing your reverse sweeps. You weren't running much. Chest was out. Had the swagger, and I thought, yeah, this is what I like. So, yeah, top 5 of all time.
When you go back home, don't forget to do your chores, all right? Okay,
Yeah, no,
when you
God.
leave this room. But let's go back to where it started for you.
Yeah.
Country kid. So grew up out Orange Way.
Mhm.
Obviously, we've all been to country towns where there's just great sports fields. There's like any number of options for kids who love their sport. When growing up in a rural setting, why did it end up with cricket to you? Because I could imagine that there were a few options for you and you probably tried everything growing up.
Yeah, I loved all sports. I guess my brother and my dad played cricket like religiously. They loved it, and so it was always in the family. And then I kind of just remember being there at my brother's trainings and being like, "Oh, can I have a try?" And then I tried and kind of loved it. And then yeah, when it came around for summer to choose a summer sport, there wasn't really like at school it was kind of like rowing. There's like athletics, but there's no real there's a lot of winter sport options, but the summer sports. Cricket was probably my number one choice, and then stuck with it.
Yeah, it's weird that everyone falls into the game, whatever they end up playing. But you guys as cricketers, it's got to start from something that you want to do, not you're pushed into. And
Yeah.
it sounds like Phoebe was like badgering to have a go. It's something that you start loving, and you obviously never end up loving, although it gets tested at times.
Well, I like no matter what, you've got a big age gap in here. We won't go too much into that, but growing up in the country as well, that's how I started the game. You go and watch your dad play. You've got your winter sport, and in the summer, the only choice you had was cricket.
Yeah.
So you sort of naturally fell in it. There's no hockey in Gundagai where I was from, so you naturally fell into it watching what your parents do.
You were Gundagai, were you? I thought you were Queanbeyan.
No, I ended up in Queanbeyan.
You ended up in Queanbeyan.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm all around, born in Carra, went to Gundagai, ended up in Queanbeyan. But
All
that's
right.
another show. It's about Phoebe.
I feel like that's a song in the making.
Yeah.
There was a song written about it.
Yeah.
Come through every country
Track
town.
winding back. Anyway,
He's a poet.
Did you have obstacles as a female wanting to play? Watching you mentioned dad, brother, there, female role models. Who were they? Where were they? Or there wasn't. It was just cricketing role models.
Yeah, I don't know. I being from the country, I was just one of the boys. I never really saw me being a female as a disadvantage. I had a great junior coach, Joe Hunter, but formerly Joe Carey, I think. And she played a few games cricket for Australia. Taught me how to bowl. Probably didn't teach me how to bowl because I actually can't bowl. But
she's got a lot to answer for. Actually.
yeah, literally. But yeah, but yeah. So she was great. Growing up, played under her, and then it was just one of the boys and played boys cricket until went down to Sydney.
So story from a mate in Orange that you were playing as a 15-year-old against men.
Mm.
Wow, that was that fun? Was it a challenge? Was
Yeah.
it scary? What was it?
Initially, it was pretty scary. I remember, I was like, "Dad, I don't think I'm ready for this," and he was like, "No, just do it." It's learn on the job, and I kind of just, I think I kind of look at it and think maybe my skills were sort of fast tracked because I had to face this faster bowling, field harder balls, and I actually kept, so that was probably a good thing. Could have gloves, but yeah, I don't know. I think it was a challenge, but also super fun. And all the men were so, I guess, welcoming. And initially it was quite funny. They'd bowl, they'd actually slow down and then I'd pull them for 4 and then they'd speed up or give me a bounce. And I was like, okay, this is double standards. But I think learnt quickly that they, welcomed me really nice.
I was going to say, who was the first severely hungover from a Friday night 35-year-old who chimed in with the chin music first up to you?
Yeah, I know. Can't remember.
Didn't happen?
But
No.
No.
Fair enough. How important is that, Hills, about having that kind of development as a young female player coming through, that you're getting that experience against battle-hardened cricketers, not just people your own age?
Well, I think a lot of the stories that you hear, probably my generation, it's probably coming less and less the younger the game gets, but a lot of the girls growing up played against older boys or men in that regard, and I completely agree. I think you fast track your skills pretty quickly because you've got to learn on the spot. For me at school cricket, it was playing red ball cricket, and I learned how to cover drive
Mm.
because I'd never have to worry about that before. I used to bowl straight and used to flick them off my legs, and all of a sudden they're hanging the ball outside off with a red ball for 2 days, and I had to work out how to hit a cover drive. So, but now there's ample opportunities for young girls to play whatever they like, whether it be with girls, boys, men, whatever it is out in the country and in the city. So there's ample options, but a lot of the consistent themes are a lot of the girls that played either upper grade or against boys in particular have sort of say something similar, which is quite interesting.
Fast track them. Technique. Where did that get honed? Because it's a pretty good one.
That's
Gotta
right.
admit.
Yeah, probably all thanks to Dad. Yeah, I just remember being in the backyard and, pulling my front shoulder up and my front elbow. But I don't know, I can't really remember working that hard. I think it just came pretty naturally just watching my brother, watching the TV,
Who are you watching?
Well, Mike Hussey, this one, and Elise Perry.
Yep.
Yeah.
I watch my technique.
Follow your technique.
Sloggy.
No, there's
That's
nothing
all
wrong
right.
with it.
My technique looks like his.
So I was going to say he had a perfect technique. She did. And what about your technique? Yes, like you've spoken about earlier, how you just sort of rant the ball over Heels' head. See, that's something in our area you never ever thought of. Did hockey play a part in your technique?
I think so. It's funny because I'm left-handed. You have to play hockey right-handed.
Yeah.
So it's not necessarily the technique, but I think just more the hand-eye coordination. Like you're properly watching the ball. And sometimes I'm in some ridiculous positions. Like it's like you shouldn't be playing cricket like that, but you just watch the ball and don't get out. I don't know. There's this kind of things where I'm like, I turn to reverse.
Don't lose that.
No, I tend to reverse, and I'm like, oh god, this is not the ball to do it, and I just dead bat it or something. But yeah, I think the hockey sort of slaps has definitely helped my reverses. Still working on the sweep shot, but hopefully, yeah.
What do you see with her technique, Hads? You're big on this.
Well-
I mean, because it gets developed at a young age, and you can see the ones who've got holes in their technique even when they get to test level, that it's like, oh, why wasn't that ironed out?
Well, the first thing you said is, it was natural. And that's the bit I like about it. Yes, there's different parts of your technique that you've got to work on to make it to that level. And the girls have done that in spades. But you need to have that natural hand-eye as well. And the modern-day player, whether it be men's sport or female sport, they can do things that we didn't think of. Like we wouldn't think about ramping the ball over someone's head or play a reverse lap or get in the wrong position, so they just bunt it down the wicket. So the game's changed, but the one thing I like about it for everyone is you sort of find your natural technique when you start, and you should never, ever lose that. It's the difference between do you overcoach kids or do you let them find their natural course, then start bringing in little things.
But I think in response to your question, is everyone's got a hole in their technique. It's how quickly you work that out for yourself and how... Yes, you can always work on it. Yes, you can try and get better at it. But if you're acutely aware of what's going to get you out more often than not, you can work around that.
Yep.
And then you've got to identify your strengths and where you're going to score. So I think that's probably more important than fixing the technique as a whole.
Yeah.
Was it so backyard? You had a net in the backyard as well. So your dad, who played a bit of Sydney grade cricket, he was the one to help you with that. But Dad's got to be a dad. And he's also got to be a coach. That is a dangerous little balance.
Yes.
I'm taking
sometimes.
notes here. This
Yeah.
No, there was.
It's tough.
Yeah, it
It's
is.
difficult.
And it'd be funny to get his perspective on it. But there were times where I just didn't want to. I didn't want to train with Dad. I was like, that you get sick of it. Like we spent a lot of time in the backyard, hitting balls. That most afternoons I'd come home and there'd be a patch where I just love it, and you'd like, can we get outside? And he's like, okay, yeah, after a busy day. But then there was times where I was like, oh, I'm actually a bit sick of you, Dad. So it kind of works both ways. But looking back on it, I'm so appreciative of all his work and just to have that. I don't know. He works a lot of hours, but he just managed to find a way to throw balls.
But you still hit with your dad.
No, I
every now
know.
and then, right? So
It's
you've
my
got
favourite thing.
Yeah, so you've got access to all these coaches around the world at the moment with the amount of cricket you play. But is there something that you love about hitting with your dad?
I think it's funny. He knows my game, I think, better than anyone else. And he can, see certain technical things because he's, grown up. And my technique's actually changed quite a bit. And as I've grown up. So he's kind of, kept note on that, and, will send me messages saying, I think it was actually in the IPL. He was like, I think your bat is getting a bit and I was like, oh my God, I can't with this, Dad. Like, there was times where I was like, no, yeah. But I know he's right, so I'm like, oh God.
Because he sends you a message after every game, does he?
Mostly, or even just a call.
Yeah.
But yeah, he's kind of like my own little analyst.
Yeah, it'd be interesting speaking to your dad, where I know coaching my young boys now, where you come home, you might be teaching them a cover drive, whatever shot, and they're going, yeah, Dad, just throw it to me. Then they go to training and they come back and say, Dad, you know what you need to do? You need to get your elbow up and get over your front knee. And I sit
told
there
you
and go, really? Where'd you hear that? You go, I trained. I said, I didn't. No, he said, no, you said I had to do. It's challenging.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Was there ever a stage coming through? Because obviously your later teenage years, you get, your priorities change, your friends start doing different things. Was it always sole focus on cricket? Because I understand you don't mind appearing on stage in the odd musical.
Hey, this is too early in the podcast.
No. You've warmed up.
Yeah,
Get the Band-Aid off and let's get into it. Here we go.
Yeah, no, I loved doing all things. I think, played sport, did cadets, did musicals, pretty much any program that my school offered. I just sort of just put my hand up, and I kind of just loved doing heaps of things and experiencing new experiences, I guess. And the musicals it's also in the family. So mum and my sister do musicals, and I kind of just got into that and really loved them.
Favorite musical? Favorite dream role in a musical?
Dream role in a musical? Oh my God. That's hard. I'd love to be in Hamilton, but I don't know which role.
Yeah.
I'd probably just probably one of the Scar sisters.
Why don't you aim real high and go Mary Poppins?
Mary Poppins.
You
That'd be
could play
cool.
Mary Poppins.
Just fly off into the crowd.
Yeah.
That'd be pretty cool.
What about you, Hunchback of Notre Dame?
Yeah, hang on. We've heard a little story today about musicals
I was
at
actually
school.
just trying to wait till you went on to the next question.
No, it was
did a
never going to
musical.
be let go. What?
I did a musical.
Yeah, what'd you do?
Midsummer Night's Dream.
You were the most unmusical person I could ever think of.
Mate,
Bradley.
once you get on stage, it changes.
Oh,
What
it does.
Can I ask what role
Demetrius.
did you play?
I
Oh,
can remember some of my lines, actually.
Really?
Yeah.
You gonna
I
sing
love
'em?
that not. I therefore pursue you not. Anyway, that's I could go on for hours. Yep, but
No, but
maybe
he's
we should
right.
leave.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Imagine bringing that up after a few tins in a dressing room after a test match.
Yeah.
I never come up actually.
No,
I tried to bring it into
I
conversation.
can't imagine that Andrew Simons or the like never brought something like that up.
Yeah.
Hey, tell us about
Yeah.
Midsummer Night's Dream and the theory behind
Have you?
it and everything.
You done a musical?
Not a musical, but in year 12 we did a stage production as our gift to the school, as if this is our personalities, who we are. We repurposed a lot of the 12th Man, Billy Birmingham's 12th Man, without the swearing, and did a little stage production there. And Phoebe is looking at me right now and going, who the hell is the 12th Man? And that's the younger generation right now. You've missed out on so much.
Yeah.
I'll
So
Google
much.
it when I get
Yeah,
out of here.
have a listen. It won't make much sense.
Google
to you. It'll
It's
teach
on
you a few
cassette.
words, but
Yeah.
probably not ones you can use around mum and dad. But
Okay.
no, that was fun. But no, musicals. But it was never an option for you.
Well, I wasn't good enough, but I don't know. The feeling of being on stage is just unmatched. I just loved it.
But
Yeah.
in a general sense, you go out and play cricket in front of people.
Mm.
Is that like a bit of? Is there a correlation there in any sense, like Hads had when he was walking out in a test match about his
Yeah.
performance in Midsummer Night's
I
She
don't
Dream?
sings in
know.
the slips, so it's basically the
She
same
sings
thing.
in the
Yeah.
slips.
Do I?
Yeah.
God,
Really?
I don't. Maybe
Does she?
No, you're just pulling my leg.
Talks a lot.
Talk to me.
It's basically a tune by the end of
What's
it.
what's the chat generally? What's the subjects?
I'd love to hear this from you, actually.
To be honest with you, I've had to concentrate in the last 12 months, so I probably tune a lot of it out. But
Yeah.
there's always just in my right ear, I can hear blip, 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 blip,
And
blip.
you're trying to concentrate, and you're like, shut
And
up.
then I know when the bowler's running in because it's silence.
Yeah.
And then blip, 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 blip.
Gotta keep the girls off in some way.
There was a photo after the South African test match at the Wacker that I put on my Instagram, and it was like when we had all the slips in. And to be fair, by then we'd sort of won the game. It was probably the most fun I'd had for a long period of time because there were so many people in the slips,
Yeah.
and they all wanted to have a little say,
Yeah.
a little chat. So it was actually really enjoyable.
Yeah, when it's just you and me, it's like, so.
Have you felt the room yet? Like when you can talk to your captain and when you can't in the slips?
I'm working on it. There's a couple of times where I've like said something and I'm like, okay, that wasn't the right thing to say. Or it's like, okay, serious here now, Phoebe, serious here. So yeah.
And there's also times where you don't say, when they're talking to you, don't answer.
Just
I used to have it with Clark and
smile
Ponting.
and nod.
You could tell by the tone of their voice where they're venting, and I just look straight ahead. Said, you know what? You don't need a comment from me.
Okay.
You got to learn that.
Mm.
No comment.
So there has been moments. No.
Back to your career and the progression. So you talked of hockey before. You were part of the Australia's under-16 hockey team. So you weren't just a weekend player. You could play a bit, but cricket was the thing. So you decided to move to Sydney. How big a call was that? How uncomfortable a move was that?
Well, it actually came pretty naturally. I was considering going down for the last 2 years of school, but ended up staying home and training remotely and just with family, which was nice. But yeah, after school finished, that was kind of my plan. So I moved to Sydney and stayed on campus at USyd and started training full time. So it came pretty naturally, but it was a big step. Like, yeah, Sydney's just hectic and it's very different to the country. So yeah, it was quite a big step.
Just a bit. What was the uni course?
Communications.
Oh,
Yeah.
media.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah.
Dying industry.
No,
Anyway.
I know. Just to analyse that into class, actually, it's like, oh, will robots take my job? And communication is like one of the biggest ones. And I'm like, oh, okay, great.
But cricket was always there. So
Yeah.
it was for cricketing reasons. What helped you feel comfortable in the environments that you were stepping into all the time, because you were going up a rung, up a rung, up a rung all along?
I think it's just my teammates. The New South Wales girls were so welcoming, and whenever I'd come down to Sydney, when I was living at home, you know, it was the best 2 weeks, or whatever, the holidays. So yeah, they were really welcoming, and then I guess I just loved being there, and so I tried to, portray that, and they portrayed the same feelings back, so it was good.
First impressions? Did she make a strong first impression?
Um,
Or were you away?
Can't remember.
yeah, I was probably away.
Yeah.
She didn't talk to it.
Yeah, I know. You know what I genuinely thought? And I've actually said this. I've apologised to Lisa Stalaker because you know what I thought? I was like, is that what I was like? And Lisa was like, yes, this is complete karma and you're going to get back what you did to all of us old girls. So I've had to apologise to all the old girls that I thought. But it's not anything bad. It's just like so excited to be there, like 110% at training and like letting you know about it. And I'm like moping around like, oh God, this is my 16th preseason and off I go. But first impressions, just a hard worker really. Like, it's no real surprise she's where she is at the minute.
A first impression's big, Hads, for a young player? Like,
Yeah,
you don't
massive.
realise it yourself, but the senior eyes are on you?
Yeah, straight away. You tell everyone they're not, but once they walk through the door, straight away you've got eyes on you from the senior players. And that first impression, sometimes as senior players, you can hold for too long, but that can work in a good and a bad way.
Can you remember who strikes you as when you were a more senior player, a first impression that...
Doug Bollinger.
Well,
Mate, he
that's
came
without
in
saying.
with that much energy, but first when you looked at him, you went, oh, but then you could start to use that energy when you needed to. But it also brings, as an older player, you up to standard. You start to remember what you felt like when you walked in. You think, hang on a minute, have I been taking this for granted? This is what it means to play for New South Wales and hopefully for Australia. So the young people in the squad, you need that balance so you can still respect the game.
So your debut was against the Sixers, and was that the game of the ramp that you mentioned at the top? Start to score some runs. About a year later, you're winning a BBL title as well. In amongst this, just before COVID played havoc with everyone, you played in the Big Appeal charity event. You remember this thing?
Yeah, don't ask me why. I still think of that day. I'm like, why was I there? Like, what the hell? I remember Alex Backwell messaged me. She's like, do you want to do this? I was like, oh my God, yes. Anyway, it wasn't until I was there and I'm like, oh my God, major imposter syndrome, and just going like, what am I doing here? Like all these stars, and I'm just like this little kid. It's like, what makes me be able to do this? Anyway, but it was the best day ever. Like, I'm so happy I did it in the end. It's just
drop
unreal.
some names. Go on, drop some names and experiences that
I
still stand out to you.
Batted with Ricky Ponting, Justin Langer, Brian Lara. It was like just the best day ever. Sitting at the other end and like watching Brian Lara just like, cover drive loft it for 6. And he's like, oh my God.
You go up the other end and try it yourself?
Yeah. And then I'm like, oh, I'm out. Hit it straight to cover. Yeah.
It says that you played with Brad Haddin, though. You didn't bring him up.
Oh, sorry. Yes, of course. So we have met.
Were you there that day?
Yeah.
Sorry.
Well, I literally asked them outside if they'd met before, and neither of them were like, oh, maybe you played together.
Yeah, we
We're
played
in the
together.
same team. We won.
Ouch. Yeah, wow. Okay.
This is awkward.
Apologies. Yeah.
You remember that day, Hats?
I remember that day, yeah.
It was Bushfire
Simo
Appeal,
got you
wasn't
out.
it?
Yeah.
Yeah. And you got an LB, which I liked. This is probably why I liked you, and you didn't walk.
I thought I was like,
Should have.
well, I was just
In a
waiting.
charity game.
I
but
know.
You went, you know what? The umpire's there to do a job.
Yeah.
I thought, tick.
Mel gave me.
Stuff you, I'm staying out here. Yeah.
Thanks to Mel.
Yeah. Anyway.
Thanks to Mel, I got to bat with Brian Lara. So, like, thanks, Mel.
Everything happens for a reason.
Anyone give you any advice that day that still kind of sticks out in your mind?
I remember talking to Justin Langer, actually. He came up to me and he's like, got a nice cover drive. And then he was like, yeah, keep going. And then I was talking to Sachin Tendulkar.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
And he said, nice cover drive. And I was like, okay, my life's set.
This is some wild name dropping.
I know.
that's-
Yeah,
Like,
this is
imagine.
the most amount of names we've dropped in one show, I reckon.
Yeah.
Hey, if Sachin Tendulkar comes up to you and says, nice cover drive, I'm telling everyone that I don't even know
Yeah.
about it. I don't think it's going to
I
happen.
said, what about my
anytime
pull shot?
soon. Yeah. Exactly. Which means all of this means we're leading to international representation, which we'll get into right after this. With our special guest, Phoebe Litchfield, here on Willow Talk. Phoebe, when did the possibility of playing for Australia drop into your head?
Oh. The possibility, I've always dreamed of it. But I think the first time I kind of thought about it was when I got selected in the Aussie A teams, and we got to sort of train alongside the Aussie side, and you were in and around that environment. And there was a day where Tess Flintoff and I got to run drinks for the Test side on day 5 because some of the squad members were playing in our sort of tournament thing. And I was like, oh my God, this is so cool. And then from there, I was like, oh, okay, it's
Yeah.
close.
Because I don't know, Hills, this what you're looking
was
at
like,
the
when was
sky.
that?
thinking, "Oh, when was
You
this?"
don't remember?
Well, that was obviously in England.
No. It was at oh, maybe it was day 4. Yes, Australia. No, in Canberra. It was like the awesome day. Yeah. And I was running your helmet on and off each over.
I do remember that.
Do you remember
It just
that?
confused me.
Each
that's all.
over.
Yeah, because like
You did
So I
not
didn't-
remember that. I remember the
over.
game we played together. You did remember that she was running your helmet.
Yeah, no, I remember that. Yes, thank you very much. Because in case because I'm primed for a fumble back to the stumps and it hits the helmet.
Yeah.
I
And
was,
it was-
like,
it was
drawn
close.
test. It was pretty cool.
it was close. Yeah.
Fair
I do
enough.
remember that. Thank you. Much
I've never seen you
appreciated.
fumble a ball in my life.
Thanks, Brad.
What's that like, Hills and Hads, when you and Phoebe just talked about it there, when you think you're a possibility of playing for the national, does time slow down? You're thinking, oh, is this ever going to happen? This ever going to happen? You're young, you're impatient, you want it to happen, but you can maybe get ahead of yourself a little bit. Is that what it's like when you're inevitably going to play for Australia, but it doesn't feel like it at the time? I guess that's what I'm getting at.
Well, you're asking 2 wicketkeepers, and we've always had to wait, right?
Yeah.
So we've been told to wait
Mm.
half our career, and then all of a sudden you get it, and you got to take the opportunity. Some do it better than others, but yeah, I guess you just got to be ready to go. Like that's the main thing that I would say is like you kind of got to think you're going to play, but then don't be disappointed if you're not picked. But you've got to be ready to go at the same time. So it's a weird place to be, but at the same time, like. There's nothing quite like getting your cap and running out there. No matter if someone is injured and you get their spot, like it doesn't matter.
Both my debuts were because of injuries and
Hey.
sickness.
You got to
Doesn't
be ready.
matter.
No, I know, but
Yeah.
that's the thing. I was ready.
Yeah.
I wasn't ready.
No.
I remember just wanting to get the opportunity once to play a game at the SCG. Growing up in the country, so imagine to get the opportunity to play one game at the SCG. Then you get picked for New South Wales, and all of a sudden your performances get to the point where your name's talked about. And I remember doing a tour with the Australian team, and it was when Laxman and Jarvid put on the big partnership at Calcutta, and I was on standby for that test.
2001, this
Yeah.
is.
Were you alive?
No.
No.
Yeah.
This is pre-Phoebe.
Go back and Google that test match.
Yeah.
And I
the
remember
top.
sitting on the sideline going, I'm not ready for this.
Yeah.
And from that day, then your training habits changed when you got back to state cricket and you lift the standard and the rest is history. But I remember sitting there watching the atmosphere and thinking, I'm not ready to be involved in this.
Was anyone, do you feel like you were ready to play international cricket? Is anyone ever ready? Sometimes
No.
you just got to
Yeah.
do it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You gotta be
one
thrown
day
to
as
the wolves.
was. You sort of just went in and you did it. But when the test cricket, I was thinking,
Oh, really?
yeah, I was ready when I got picked for my first test. I was ready.
That
But-
was
That was a long time. 08.
08.
Mm.
Far out, you had an apprenticeship. Yeesh. So you said you weren't ready. You felt like you weren't ready.
Yeah, no. I kind of was, in the A squad, and I had I was like, okay, my only real chance in is, Rach. I was like I'm kind of like the next sort of Rachel. I was trying to be the next Rachel Haynes sort of thing. And so when she retired, I was like, okay, this could be me. But I didn't necessarily believe that I was actually good enough to take her spot.
Yep.
So it's like, oh, maybe I am the next one in, but I don't think I'm actually good enough. And so, yeah, the T20, and I think because my first tour was a T20 tour, I definitely was like, okay, this is not my strongest format, and so I didn't think I was ready to play in the 11. But did it and learned on the job, and it was cool.
Just take that out, Sam. She just said, I'm not ready. T20's not my...
Yeah,
Do
what
you
the
know
hell?
where you're about to make your money?
Yeah.
Oh, I know, God.
We'll take that out, don't worry.
No, no, I said at the time.
Okay,
Well,
at the
yeah,
time.
it still isn't my best.
Developing. now
It's developing.
Now
It's
the best
continuing to
part of your
develop.
game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just put
Well
that.
said.
You're evolving.
That's it. That's all right.
He was, but while this all is going on, the doubts, the internal doubts, every human being has internal doubts.
Yeah.
Selectors and senior players are thinking, what about where she should fit in? Was it a case of we're going to find a spot for her because
Yeah.
she's doing this in WBBL and she's done it time and time again. She's cracking runnable centuries in one day cricket as well at North
Yeah.
Sydney Oval and the like.
Probably the irony is that T20 was how Phoebe was going to get the opportunity because that's where we kind of have been able to bring young players through and kind of develop that style of play in our T20 format, leading into World Cups, whereas the ODI team at the time was probably more settled. Rach was still going and Meg was still playing, and that was quite a hard team to crack into. So the T20 side was where we were able to give opportunity. So I love hearing her say that, but all in our mind, I'm pretty sure it was like, well, we need to get Phoebe into the T20 side and figure out where she best fits, whether it is at the top, whether it's in the middle, and kind of play around with that, knowing, there's a T20 World Cup on the horizon.
Yeah, and then that debut did come
Mm.
in December 11, 2022. Did you hand the cap over? No? Who handed the cap over? Phoebe?
Yeah, Midgie did. Obviously not memorable. It's just the best day of my life. No, joking.
Hey, she
Oh,
was
no,
focused on the
Moons did.
captaincy.
Oh, wait.
Nah, Moons did my ODI one.
I'm just going to leave, Sam. Yes, I did. I handed over her T20 cap.
You remember it
I
clearly.
do. Yeah.
What was that experience like, and what was the text message from Dad like after all of those messages
Yeah,
over
yeah.
every single game that you've ever played in your life,
Yeah.
and then you get to do that? Surely it was well done, love.
It was really simple. It was
Yeah.
like, I can't remember, but it's just like, watch the ball, have fun. And I was like, oh my God, yeah.
Yeah.
Cutting
Edge, Dad.
cutting edge.
watch the ball.
But like,
Probably all I said as well.
yeah, literally just watch the ball. I was like, that's his main.
But how can
Sort
you
of
have
message.
fun when there's nerves involved?
Well, I'll tell you how I had fun. I didn't have to bat, which was great because I was like, okay, great. You guys do that. But got to field in front of, 45,000 people
Wow.
screaming. And then it went down to the super over. And so, it was just the most incredible match. And I was just on edge the whole time. I've never been I was just like, where's the ball? Where's the ball? And the whole time I was just like, this is the best. And looking around and going, wow.
As in, where's the ball? I want the ball, or where's the ball?
I don't want the ball. No.
No.
Bit of
There's a
both.
big difference. Isn't
Yeah,
there?
yeah. No, the first ball I fielded, I was like, okay, great. Got that under the way. Done my job. Now we
No fumble.
we can go. Yeah, literally. But yeah, it was a good day.
I think you've been very humble here. I reckon you're the personality when you're playing to say, you know what, if that ball's anywhere near me, I'm going to make a difference in the game here.
Yeah, at times.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I think on that day I was just so like nervous that I didn't want to make a mistake. So I'm
Could you
like,
see your family? Wait, from the field? Because I could always see where my family was sitting and friends.
not in India. They weren't there.
Oh, weren't they there?
No.
Was this
But-
in your travel ban still, wasn't there? And things like that?
Yeah,
Maybe, or
I
just
don't
the end of
know.
it? But anyway,
Anyway.
they were watching.
They were watching.
They were
Yep, they
absolutely-
stayed up.
Yeah.
Generally, when there's a game that Phoebe's involved in, there is a Litchfield somewhere
Yeah.
in the stands. Whether it's mum, dad, brother, sister, whoever it is,
Yeah.
there's someone.
There's always
There's
someone.
always a Litchfield.
Fair enough.
Or your grandma.
My grandma.
Yeah.
Yep.
So, Heels, this is where you maybe got battled up. Not long after, in January, you were out injured, and Phoebe made her one-day international debut, and that's when Beth Mooney handed over that particular cap. It's good now. You just collect caps and collect memories with the people that hand over the caps
Yep.
as well. And you just eased yourself in there with a player of the match innings and put on 137 with Meg Lanning and all of that. You obviously felt pretty comfortable pretty quickly.
Yeah, I don't know.
Or were you packing it?
No, I was packing it. The game probably, was the best scenario. We were chasing something pretty small and had a lot of time. So, there was no pressure, which was nice. Was batting a bit slowly and struggling a bit. But, Meg up the other end was just smashing it. And it was it was very cool to bat with her. I only played, those 3 games with her. And to share the crease with her was probably a highlight. Just because, I grew up watching her, Alyssa and Pez a lot. So, yeah, that was a pretty cool day.
Was there trepidation, not fear, it's probably not the word, but like that fine line between respect and being really standoffish with the senior legends that are in that team, like Heels, like Meg, like Elise? Was there that?
Yeah, towards Perry, Lise Perry and Meg Lanning a bit, but because I knew Midgie from New South Wales land, and I kind of I don't know, because she's got, quite fun and bantery. That came pretty naturally, but Meg was pretty scary, to be fair. Yeah. And
Elise?
Yeah, initially. I've gotten to know
She's
Pez
not
a bit
scary.
more. She was a bit initially.
I'm
They're
not
both
over it.
scary. I'm still scared of both of them.
You're scared of Elise Perry.
I'm scared of Meg Lanning still. And
Not scared, that's negative connotations,
Yeah.
but just intimidated and watch. When you think what you have to say around them. I still do that with you, actually, with her. But
It's just because they're standing the game.
yeah,
Isn't it?
yeah,
You want to be respected.
exactly.
You want to be brought into the inner circle. You don't want to be pushed aside.
Yeah. You don't want to say the wrong thing as
Yeah.
well.
No.
Especially when she doesn't even remember giving you the cap and stuff.
Yeah.
guys,
I've got one up on her now.
Sam was
that's
going
right.
to cut that out. Thanks for that.
No.
Getting cut out, Sam.
Nah. That's
I
right. You
blocked
probably
You've got a reputation to uphold in here.
I blocked that game out of my mind because that's the one we lost, and all
Yeah.
hell broke loose back in Australia. That, oh my God, the Australian team had lost a game of cricket.
Game.
And I was captain, so I blocked it out.
No.
What about that? Going into a team that it's not acceptable to lose.
From the outside.
Yeah.
Put it that way.
It is. That's the pressure that you guys have because you set the bar so high. So
Well, you had it in 01 because it wasn't acceptable to lose a test match then. That was the end of the 16 tests in a row, wasn't it?
yeah,
That one in India. So
That one you played.
they had it.
good one.
But it is. It's a different pressure that you go into. You sort of go in, and all of a sudden your friends go, "Do you know this team's never lost? You're the best." And you go, "Oh, hang on a minute. I just want to get to the other end.
Yeah.
I want to get through it." That's different.
It is different, and it happened as well in the New South Wales team. So I don't know what the record was, but
20,
New South Wales hadn't lost a match.
20 years.
Yeah, 20 years. Anyway, the year I came in, we lost. And then, since the 4 years that I've been in there, we've haven't won. And so I'm like, oh my God, there's a pattern here. Anyway, and then we come into, our game. Sorry, the Aussie stuff, and we lose. And I'm like, shit. Nah, but
Just
Yeah, I
letting
don't
you
know.
Phoebe's not coming to the World Cup.
Yeah.
That's what I've just heard.
what? No, okay. Let's delete that one, Sam. No, I think it's not necessarily a pressure. It's more just I don't know. I see it as a really cool opportunity to keep winning and keeping those standards up. And I didn't really feel it that much. It was more just how can I best contribute? But yeah.
Test debut, middle of 2023 in England.
Mm-hmm.
Where does it stand in the obviously the baggy green,
Yeah.
but you guys don't play a stack of test matches. It's not like the boys who play 12, 15 test matches a year sometimes. You guys, they're here and there everywhere, but getting involved in a test match meant what exactly compared to the other two debuts?
Yeah, I think it was probably my favourite. I think just because, the baggy green and what it's, what it means, and especially growing up, I remember wearing one of the ones out of those Wheat Bix boxes. Like, you get one of those like fake ones and you wear it around the house or wear it on like the Boxing Day test. So to have like a real one was so cool. And my dad and my mum came over because Dad missed both my other debuts. So he's like, I'm being there no matter what. Like, even if I didn't debut, he was coming.
One of them he missed because he was performing surgery as a vet.
He does, yeah. Yeah. So my ODI cap, he had to like watch the KO replay. He didn't look at the scores. He was like, he didn't look at the scores, didn't look at any messages. He was like in surgery, I don't know, performing something on a dog. And then watched it, and then I got a message at like 9 p.m. going, well batted, Fetty. And I was like, oh. Yeah, it was really cute. But
Where is your baggy green?
it's currently hanging up in my wardrobe.
Okay.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, on the yellow tassels on my hat drawer. Yeah.
Is it with that baggy green? Look, maintaining it and looking after it. How do you guys look after yours?
Well, mine's only like 8 tests old
Yeah.
still
Yeah.
after 15 years, so it's pretty
yeah.
easy.
That's remarkable.
They
Just
all
don't-
look very new.
Yeah, just don't put it next to Mitch's, which is disgusting
It's
Yeah.
beautiful.
'cause
Mitch's.
it'll
Yeah.
like gather some sort of moth or
Yeah.
rat or something.
I'm
towards it.
wondering how some of those baggy greens for the boys get back through customs. You know how you're not
Yeah,
allowed to have
gross.
dirt in your shoes?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Like, how on earth?
Nah,
like,
it gets washed by Corona.
what does it?
Mine can walk.
Disinfected, is it? Mexican
Yeah,
disinfectant.
mine can walk.
Where is yours? Did you only have one, or did you
Only
get
one.
the replay?
No, only one.
Is it 100? You get another one?
Yeah, you do.
You can ask for another
yeah.
one, but it's kind of like
You don't want it.
The
What about if
novelty,
you
yeah.
leave it
Get
in
'em
your
repaired.
backpack and it goes missing when
Oh,
in transit from Melbourne to Sydney?
Yeah.
Sorry to bring
Too
that
soon.
up, David.
Is that
Too
too
soon.
soon?
No, it's not
No.
too
Oh,
soon.
you just like
Great stories in the history of Australian
Yeah.
cricket.
Mate,
Sorry.
mine's like cardboard. It smells like Corona.
Yeah.
Karina's the same. She goes, Bradley, get that. I'll have to leave it in my office.
Put it in a encasing so it just traps the air inside it so the air can't get
It'll
out.
grow.
Just
Oh,
look
so
at
it's
it.
so
Oh.
gross.
Yeah. It'll have legs next time you look at it.
It's a eucalyptus tree growing out of it.
it is cool though. Like I get a little bit I get a bit bitter that I look at Mitch's and I'm like, that's like seen some stuff, that hat, and mine won't look like that. But then at the same time, mine's forever going to look pristine.
Yeah.
So it's kind of a nice I don't know, juxtaposition, I guess, when they one day sit next to one another. It's going to be quite interesting.
So Mitch's looks like you've just got it out of the back of the dumpster.
Yeah, I think he just got it repaired last
His
year.
just ripped, wasn't it?
Yeah, so he
Yeah.
just got it from the umpire because they all wear bulldog clips now, and the
Oh, yeah.
umpire pulling it off the bulldog clip ripped the top. So I think he just had it repaired, but he won't get a second one.
No way.
Yeah.
He loves it.
You're not allowed to wear it anywhere, are you?
Just
Is
wear
it
it
like
down
a-
the
Hey, you
street.
can wear it wherever you want.
Can you?
Yeah.
Oh, that's right. The
You
guys
just
that-
can't put it on someone else's head. That's a bit of a no-no. Like
that's the
someone can't
no-no.
wear yours.
Yeah.
Yeah, so because I remember I'd actually debuted before Mitch in Test cricket, and I just got mine, and we'd won at Bankstown, and he was sitting next to me at the end of it, and I like gave it to him. I was like, "Try it on." He's like, "No, I want to get my own."
No way.
Yeah.
And he was like, would not put
No.
it on his head.
Okay, what if there's two Australian players talking to each other and you swap hats? Can you do that? Or
don't
it's-
think that's
you
ever
can't let anyone who hasn't represented Australia wear it.
Well, I'm not going to let Phoebe wear mine, and Phoebe's not going to let me wear hers. That's a bit odd.
It's a bit different if your mate grabs it and tries it on.
Okay.
Someone who'll never actually play cricket for sure. Yes. Like my one of my mates.
Do you
Yeah.
want to wear it?
You can
Bring him
try
in.
mine on.
Yeah, because that's right. When a subfielder comes out, they're always either in the floppy or the other one. They can't wear
Yeah.
the baggy green, which is absolutely fair enough. So you haven't worn it socially anywhere like that? Or?
No, I walked down to the pub the other day. No.
Family barbecues.
Imagine,
It's a must.
hey guys. No.
That's a big no-no.
Yeah.
Absolute big
You
no-no.
party in it when you win a test?
Not really.
We did win that test, and that was cool. I'm pretty sure I got showered in beer. It may have been myself showering myself in the beer, but I don't think we partied too much.
Nah.
But I'll remember that test match because it's not. You've been getting stuck into me for years about opening in a test match, and it's not that I didn't want to. That wasn't the thing, but we kind of threw Phoebe to the wolves a little bit, and we're like, "Go out there, do your thing."
And I did not do that.
And no, but it wasn't necessarily that you weren't ready or anything like that. It was like, let's see what she's got. This is probably the best place for her to bat. She's out there with someone like Beth Mooney, great person to sort of be with. We won the test match. It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
And she sat under the lid all day in the field chirping away, so it was good fun.
Oh, you've got to be the best fielder when you come in young, or the senior players put you straight under the lid.
Ouch.
No, but our people under the lid are really good at what they do. So they've shot themselves in the foot.
You want to stay there?
Well, I actually quite like it.
See?
I like being close to the action.
Well. You're a screw loose, aren't you?
Hey,
You're going to go well. You've done a little bit of wicket keeping, haven't you?
Yeah.
Yeah. This makes a lot of sense now reading through all these notes.
That's why we got her in, because she's worn the gloves.
Yeah.
Yes.
Keeping it real back on.
Yeah.
Some quick fire trivia for you,
Yep.
Phoebes. How much you know about your own career so far?
Oh, God.
I'm a bit worried about you if you can't remember some of these.
Okay.
Ireland, your century.
Mm-hmm.
Put on a double ton stand with.
Annabelle Sutherland.
There you go.
Tough.
That was easy.
Ooh, another superstar.
How many balls equal fastest women's T20 international half century?
18.
Bang. Spot on. What are you giggling about here?
Because you're asking like the biggest snuff all these questions, and she of course knows the answer.
What happened against India in a test match?
Got run out for a diamond.
Whose fault?
Oh, mutual.
Mutual?
Mm.
Mutual with who?
Beth Mooney.
Okay. What
She didn't
happened?
get run out. Or was it off the bowler's hand?
No.
Oh, that's right.
It was like
You
the
did get
worst
run out,
day
run out.
ever. I was like,
Oh,
I was so ready for my second test. I was like, yeah, warmed up really well. And then I was just like, all of a sudden walking off the field, and I was like, oh my God, no. And then sat down and was just like, had to watch everyone else bat.
That
was a long
is
day.
Cricket though,
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
because you could feel $1 million
Yeah.
feeling like you're middling everything in the nets, and then for some unknown reason you get the touch off the bowler's hand, or you get a ball that's just unplayable, and all of a sudden you've got to sit there and watch everyone else
Now
play.
you know why we're crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not normal.
Not normal.
It'll
No.
break you this game.
Good luck. Yeah, thanks. I'm really excited.
Exactly. And okay, I'll be really impressed. You and Heal shared an opening stand
Oh.
against India in Mumbai earlier this year.
Yeah.
What was the opening stand?
It's really tough. I reckon I was on like, I'm going to say 160, 72, 184.
Just short.
189.
Oh,
189. Did you know that off the top of your head? Or
No.
you were looking at the notes in front of
She
you?
Yeah,
didn't know
we
who
were
she was
so
batting
close.
with.
Have we I think we've worked out this episode that I don't remember a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
So
do you remember that day though?
I do remember that day because I've don't take this the wrong way, but I have never walked off the field more exhausted than that because I was willing Phoebe on to get 100. Like I was like, come on,
Yeah.
stay with it,
Yeah.
with it, because Phoebe was on 80 odd flying and thinking she was on 12 off 68 balls. So
Yeah.
I was working real hard at my end and go, come on, want to get you there. And then I got bowled off my hip.
Yeah, that was so bad.
Like it hit me in the hip and somehow went around and hit the stumps and I was like, what?
I remember just going, no. I was like, no.
But I was like, come on, Phoebes. And then I sat at the top of the stairs. I didn't want to talk to anyone. I was like, come on. I think, was it Pez that came out to bat?
Yeah.
Yeah. And I was like, work with her. Like, she's got to get there.
And then 4 wickets fell when I was in the 90s. And I was like, panic stations.
How'd you
But
keep
we got
your head?
there. I was like, come on, Phoebes. What did Mitchie say? No.
I don't want Dad to send a crap message to
Yeah.
you.
Well, I was just like, oh my God, okay. Well, I wasn't like, get to the 100 because that's like, team first. But I was like, get to the 100.
Yeah.
And work
you were
off.
thinking 2 good hits.
Yeah.
Well, but also I wasn't like, I was like, it's not the time to do that because we were losing wickets and we had a really good first partnership. So I was like, that wouldn't be smart. So I got there in singles.
Oh,
Yeah.
Performing on the
Not like
international stage and scoring runs and doing what you're doing in the WBBL, it's obviously opened up opportunities. And it seems that opportunities are emerging left, right and centre in women's sport, full stop, but especially in women's cricket, IPL, 100. Balancing all that, making sure you do the right thing for the long term as opposed to going, oh yeah, I'll go and do that. How are you finding that process?
Yeah, very good question.
Thank you.
No.
Took us 45
Oh,
minutes.
well,
but we got
we'll keep that in, Sam.
No, I think, as you said, it's, a lot of things have come fast and pretty much like given to me in my career, and I've like loved it. But as you said, it is hectic and it's a lot to manage at times. But I guess at the moment I'm just like trying to enjoy it as much as possible. And these experiences are amazing, and I can't really say no to them. So you know, for example, going over the 100, going over for the WPL. Yeah, I don't know. I guess it's just sort of riding the wave, I guess.
How did you watch the auction?
I didn't. I actually got the time difference wrong. And I know. God, I was like, guys, I've got this thing that I have to watch. I was out with some friends at a 21st, actually. And I had this thing. I was like, guys, I've got this thing at like 10 o'clock, 10 p.m. that I just like need to watch on KO. Anyway, it was actually at 8 o'clock. And so my phone started like blowing up, and I was like, what is this? And then I've got some FaceTimes. I was like, what? And they're like, girl, you've just been, drafted. And I was like, oh my God. And then, yeah, we kind of had a party. It was fun.
Good party.
Yeah.
The dream.
Yeah.
The dream. Any advice you would impart on balancing everything?
No, I actually think like do it while you're young. Like in particular, I mean, at the end, sometimes at the back end of our careers, you end up playing a little bit more just to sort of cap off be a part of these experiences and kind of cap off your career in that regard. But I think in Phoebe's case, do it, because for us as an Aussie team, the more cricket that Phoebe's playing in different conditions around the world is only going to benefit us as a group. Yes, managing your energy levels is going to be important, and making sure you're peaking, for a World Cup would be ideal. But the fact that she's going over to play with different people right around the world, but also different conditions, is only going to benefit Australian cricket in the long run.
What conditions do you need to improve the most in?
I reckon like slow turners. So yeah, the subcontinent, I think.
Bring on Bangladesh later.
Bring on Bangladesh. I know. Like I was literally just gonna say Bangladesh. The 5 games we played in Bangladesh was like the most challenging I've probably played in.
Why is that?
I think it just as we said, pretty much showed holes in my technique, and that was kind of a habit that I've had in Australia that you can kind of get away with. But over there, when the ball's just a bit slower, seaming a bit, or even just spinning a bit, get caught a lot driving and stuff like that. So it was kind of like that. And yeah, just decision making over there is super important.
Pretty mature outlook, Hads, for someone at the start of their career. Did you have that when you started your career?
Well, I wasn't as mature as that at that age. But one thing I'd say, you've got to be yourself. You got to be yourself, be true to yourself. But the other thing, you've got great opportunities now to leave huge legacies, especially in the female game. What these guys have done, Heels and her group, they've set this standard for the young girls now to not stay there and thereabouts, to try to match and go better. So the opportunities now to learn, the expectation to not just to be good, but to be great in this environment's exciting, I reckon.
Is it weird having a 10-year-old come up to you starry-eyed, saying, cover your autograph or cover selfie? They don't ask for autographs now, do they?
Yeah, they
or maybe
do.
on bats and things, but
and
selfies are big.
Like I signed this little girl's bat the other day, and you probably won't remember this, but I've got a bat at home with your signature on it. My favorite bat growing up. Anyway, I was at this under 12s whatever, and they had this star Alyssa Healy come on and train, or like a help out or something like that, or even just come to. I can't really remember, but have the autograph, and it's just sitting at home. And then I'm like, oh my God, I'm doing that. Well, I'm like signing people's bats now, and so that's kind of a whoa, pinch myself moment.
Are you seeing more though of that now that there's more exposure for women's cricket? Every game's on WBBL. You're seeing more and more girls rock up to games wanting to be you guys.
Yeah, it's more the young boys that's probably been a shift for me. Yes, the young girls see it and they aspire to be the Phoebe Litchfields and the Elise Perrys of the world, but more the young boys hanging over the fence wanting an autograph. They don't really care that it's men or women playing. They just love their Sixers or their Thunder, or they love their Phoebe, the way that she plays. For me, seeing that shift has probably been more important, just to see it as sport in general.
Got a sledge lined up for it when you're playing WBBL this year?
No, I'm not a big sledger.
No?
No. I kind of just like...
I wasn't a big sledger.
No. Oh! Is that the biggest lie I've ever seen?
Gamesmanship.
Gamesmanship, yes. Standing in Jonathan Trott's area, personal space. I'd put that in the category. It's not sledging.
Let's get off top. When you go into the Sixers, like all the superstars of the game eventually go to the Sixers?
Mm.
No, here we
Soon?
go.
Oh wait, when are you going to the
Yeah.
Sixers? I get asked this a lot actually. No, okay.
Never say never.
Wait, no, I shouldn't say this. This is going public. Don't worry.
Contracted player.
She's
Stop
thought
it.
about it.
Stop
She's
it.
thought
You
about
No,
it.
no. It's
Stop
just
it.
when I was growing up,
About it.
I went for the Sixers, like because
Yeah.
you know my idols were playing for the Sixers.
Yeah.
But then since being in the lime green, can't look back.
They love being the underdogs over there.
Yeah, I kind of love that. I don't know.
We just blew our budget on Amelia Curse. We can't afford
Yeah,
Phoebe
literally.
anymore.
No, I don't
We'll
know
find a
what it
way.
is, but there's I don't know. Like I'd always love to play. Oh no. No. I
CG though. You get to play
Yeah.
there.
No,
as
I
a
know.
Sixer
What
and-
do you
Stop
though?
it, you two.
Mm.
But that game is usually against the Thunder, so technically we just
Not always.
profit off.
Are there anti-tampering rules in WBBL rules?
Not on Willow.
Because I reckon we've just broken every single one of them. Well, you maybe not, because you're not official, but you over there.
I'm not official either. It's fine.
No. I actually really enjoy the Thunder, and they've given me probably more opportunity. Like if I had gone to the Sixers when I did, when I went to Thunder. Oh,
Yeah,
please.
you'd be opening the batting.
Yeah.
So
Shush.
Yeah.
But I got a lot of opportunity. When I was 16
Yeah.
to bat at 5. I probably wouldn't have got that anywhere else. So
That's good.
really fortunate.
We're going to
opened.
end on that last answer because you shushed both of them in here after starting out like really humble, and I had to go
Yeah,
to the
wow.
other two to talk about you first and everything
Oh my
like
God,
that.
that's just
We'll
so-
end on Phoebe Litchfield telling the two senior players in here to shut up.
No! Did I say that? Roll the tapes.
Roll it, tape.
Roll the tapes.
Phoebe, thanks so much. As this goes to where you're in the 100, so hopefully by the time people are listening to this, you've gone century
Oh.
in the 100. But best of luck for whatever's next and at the World Cup later this year. And we wish you all the best and look forward to having you back in.
Thank you very much. Thanks for having me.
Well
up
done.
the superchargers.
Up the Superchargers.
You're a star.
Fun fact, I actually got a gig with the Superchargers because of Midgie as well.
Phoebes has taken all my jobs.
I-
My roles so far.
Literally.
Oh,
She
just-
got injured, so I opened
Yeah.
batting, and then she got injured, so I got a gig with the Superchargers. So I literally have her to thank for my career.
Her tea time's got her preparation. got in the way. That was Willow Talk. Catch you later. Yeah, thanks for watching the Willow Talk podcast on YouTube. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button so you don't have to miss an episode wherever you are. And while you're at it, check out these videos up here. They're mostly good.